Just give me a reason to keep my heart beating. Don't worry, it's safe right here in my arms. As the world falls apart around us, all we can do is hold on, hold on.
Hello everyone, this is DT Ninja, here to bring you my first review of Master of Flame, Rurouni Kenshin's side story, Makoto Shishio's Master of Flame. Nobuhiro Watsuki has come out with a side story for the villain Makoto Shishio from Legend of Kyoto, and this is the backstory, the side story. So basically, the prequel to The Legend of Kyoto. So it's during the 10th year of the Meiji era, so it's actually before the actual story starts, so it's quite interesting. But we're going to cover a little bit. I gave you guys 15 pages to look at, to read, and we're going to go over it just like a chapter, alright? So first thing we're going to look at is the intro, right? Because the intro is pretty awesome, right? We have Kenshin, and Shishio in the shadows. The second thing we're going to look at is the characters, because there are some characters that are introduced in here, and they're quite interesting, and I really have a good feeling about this, because these characters not only represent what this chapter was about, but I have a feeling that it's going to go into the next chapter as well, and actually be something significant to what we already know in the story. So, and the third thing we're going to look at is the prequel to the coming plan of the 10 Swords. Now, what I mean by this is we're going to probably get an idea of where they came up with this plan, to set fires all over Kyoto. Not just that, but the ship and everything. So, we're going to get to that. And then, finally, we're going to do predictions, okay? So, first off, let's get with the introductions, the intro of Master of Flame. Now, the first thing we see is Kenshin, right? The Bakamatsu at the end of the revolution. He threw away his sword. Basically, he left his sword behind and resolved himself never to kill again, right? We already know this already. But in the shadows, he made himself known, and once Makoto Shishio realized this, that is when he started, becoming more of an assassin. When, once Kenshin became less involved, with the assassination. So, like Seijiro Hiko told Kenshin in the story, it is his fault. It was part of his fault. First page we see, it says, he was like a demon, like even just as a person, that's just crazy. I mean, this guy is, even before he was burned alive, this guy had this lust for, I don't know if it's conquest or power, or it's just the thrill of battle. When I think of Makoto Shishio, I think of someone like, Kenpachi Zaraki, someone who really, really loves battle, and really lives on the edge, so that comes to mind when I think of Makoto Shishio. But I thought that was interesting, because I always wondered, was he like that to begin with, or was it the government that made him like that? Was he more like Kenshin? No, he was ruthless from the beginning. I mean, it says he was like a demon. I mean, this guy was like a demon wanting to destroy everything. So, I mean, even from the beginning, it sounds more like crazier than even Jinei Udol. And Jinei was one of those crazy guys, I mean, he disobeyed the Shinsen Gumi's, their laws or whatever, and he became one of those manslayers. But I really enjoyed the intro. It's really short, right? Just a couple pages. And then we're introduced to a new character, alright? Now, when I first read this, I didn't know this was her name, but her name is Hana. So Hana's our first character, so let's get to the characters. Hana Homura. So basically that means blazing flower. So, you know, it's kind of like ironic, I guess, you know? I don't know. Because, you know, she's beautiful, but at the same time she's had a hard life, so it's not like she's, you know, perfect. She's a merchant's daughter. We learn in this chapter that her whole entire family was murdered, but not only that, they were burned by someone, by robbers. She says by burglars, by robbers. Shishio, and Shishio, he says, you know, he has that look like interesting, like he's wondering who did that, but like when I'm thinking that, I'm like, could it have been Shishio? Like, I mean, she said she was burnt. They were burned, right? And there was no trace of them. So, like, were they unfortunate victims in Shishio's path? I mean, and that's something interesting to think about, guys, because, I mean, she says they were burned, she said there was no trace of them, and then Shishio's look, you know, he's smoking, you know, but, like, just his look on his face, he was like, ho, ho, didn't he said, like, ho, ho, or something like that, you know? It was almost like he was intrigued by her story, you know, like, I'm supposed to feel bad for you, you know? And even the other girl, which is Hanabi, which means fireworks. It makes more sense for her personality, because she's really, you know, she's more happy, I guess. She's kind of happy-go-lucky character. You know, she says she's not that smart, but she's always singing. She's always smiling. Yeah, and I believe that Hanabi has two kids. I believe those are her kids, Akari and Agari. Now, those two are quite interesting. Those are her kids. I guess they're her kids. I don't know, but we see, you know, we see what's Sojiro, right? Sojiro playing with them, and you know he's using the shakuchi to find them and play hide and go seek. I thought that was pretty, actually quite interesting. I was like, wow, that's actually cheating though. But anyway, that was just one thing. So we didn't really see much from the kids, but I think we're going to see a little bit more from them. Like I said, Hanabi, we do see a lot more from Hanabi. Hanabi is always, you know, involved, talking to someone. Yeah, so I guess they are working at this tea house, right? And they're courtesans, right? You know, courtesans, like geisha, basically geisha. They're geisha, and like Hana said, she had no choice. She was bought by a pimp. She says by a pimp, right? By someone. She was bought and sold. This is how it works, and I guess this is the area, the red light district. What we would call in Japan the red light district, and this is where you know, Shishio decided to go, and you know he's just sitting there. You know he's kind of rude. You know, you're not supposed to just, you know, throw money around like I can do whatever I want, but that's what they're doing. You know, because I mean it's Makoto Shishio, he can do whatever he wants, but like I thought it was interesting how we see Hoji. You know, Hoji's yelling at the person. He's like, I have all the money I want. You know, we have all the money. We can do what we want. And then he's off to work. You know, we see him either talking to someone or working. And, you know, we never really see him involved, you know. I've never really seen him smile, like, in a conversation, except for when he was by, you know, Shishio's side during the battle or whatever, before the battle, you know. But, like, he's always involved working on something. So, yeah. Anyway, the characters were quite interesting. I liked Hana's character. It's not Yumi, so that was the big thing. I thought it was Yumi Kamagata, but I guess that's her name, Hana Homura, the blazing flower. So, I have a feeling about her. I don't know why, but I feel that she is going to be significant to Shishio. Not saying she is going to, be a really like a companion or anything like that, because that's what I was thinking at first, but no, I think it's going to relate to Yumi somehow, and it will relate back to the story, and if that happens, that will be incredible, because that's just how it should be, but yeah, anyway, let's get on to the next part, which is the prequel, right? The prequel. Well, actually, there's one more character. We don't know his name, but at the end of this chapter, we see, Hanabi, and he obviously has some, team with him. It's a group of people. So, yeah. So we did get to see some of the swords. We saw Sojiro. Obviously, we saw, Hoji. So we get 2 of Shishio's swords. But then he mentions, I've been collecting 10 swords around Japan, and now we've only seen 2. So we know he's talking about people, not actual swords. But I like the fact that he's actually showing the sword as if it's a sword itself, because it's literal, but at the same time there's hidden meaning to it, guys. Jupon Gatana literally means 10 swords. So, katana, katana, that's where it comes from, katana. But when you put Jupon in front of it, we say gata. We say ga. So it's Jupon Gatana. So if you guys ever wondered that's why. It means 10 swords. Yeah, but I thought that was interesting, because, he's like asking for Shishio's sword, or something like that, and he's like, well, I've been collecting swords all over Japan, and he's actually talking about people. So I liked that part of the chapter. And the next part is where Hoji is at his desk, and you see him working, right? And he's always working, and Hanabi's there, talking to him or whatever, but he's just so focused on his work, and he sees this picture, and he says, battleship. And the first thing that comes to mind is the Purgatory. Yes, guys, the Purgatory from Rurouni Kenshin. I'm thinking that is what it's representing, guys. The Purgatory. You guys remember this? The Purgatory. The battleship of Makoto Shishio. This one. The one they explode. The steel-plated battleship. This one. Yeah, but we see that picture, and that's the first thing that came to mind. He's already searching for, ships for this plan to be in action, and obviously, he's got a year or so before the actual event will take place, in Kyoto. But yeah, I enjoyed that, even though it's just very brief. But like I said, my favorite part of the chapter was probably when, I would say probably at the very end. I like the Shishio part where he talks about the 10 swords. I liked, I kind of like the funny part with Sojiro and Akari and Agari. I liked Hana's part as well. So there was a lot of interesting parts. But my favorite part was probably the ending, when we get this new group coming in. It's a new dynamic, and it's like, what are they? Why are they here? And it just makes me wonder, why are they going to confront Shishio? Are they mad? Do they have any idea who this guy is? I mean, I get this arrogant vibe from that guy, from that guy in the robe. I just have a suspicion that he's going to arrogantly, talk to Shishio, and I don't know. I just have a feeling about him. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my first chapter of Master of Flame. Next week, maybe even this weekend, I'll get chapter 2 out to you, and that'll be, pages 16 to 30. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and as always, have a great day.